From Tudor submariners worn in the jungles of Vietnam to Casio G-Shocks and Seikos used as tools in the global war on terror and beyond, many watch brands have strong connections to the military. In this video, we'll reveal 10 watchmakers with close ties to our community, highlighting some of the biggest names as well as a few smaller brands you need to know. Watches of Espionage is curated by a former CIA case officer with a passion for timepieces. On the WOE YouTube channel, we explore the intersection of watches and the military, intelligence, and national security. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to be informed when we release new videos. Over the past century, the technology of warfare has developed by leaps and bounds, but one constant for warfighters is a reliable timepiece on the wrist. Whether it's a Rolex mil-sub on the wrist of a special boat service operator, a Seiko utilized by MACV-SOG in Vietnam, or a G-Shock on a recon marine in Iraq, watches remain crucial tools. While most modern practitioners rely on digital tool watches, watches are a key aspect of culture and national security, with many military and intelligence units creating customized unit watches with an insignia on the dial or caseback as a way to commemorate service and honor their heritage. With that in mind, in this list we will assess each brand's history of military-issued timepieces, the current state of their unit watch program, and the extent to which the brand prioritizes tool watches. As a caveat, this list, which is presented in no particular order, has nothing to do with price. Numerous brands at all levels of the industry fall under the purview of watches of espionage for different reasons, and they all matter. In the 20th century, Rolex was a clear leader in the military watch space. Versions of the Submariner were issued to U.S. Navy divers, and a specialized mil-sub was even created for the British Navy, complete with fixed spring bars and a fully graduated bezel. By the early 2000s, Rolex was also a leader in the unit watch space, having designed customized versions of its tool watches for the British SAS and the Attack Helicopter Force, as well as the Italian National Police's diving unit, among others. That said, today it's difficult to argue that modern Rolex is a true military tool watch. Rolex authored some of the most iconic tool watch designs, including the Submariner, gmt-master, Daytona, and Explorer. But the crown has since shifted its focus in favor of polished surfaces, ceramic bezel inserts, and hype culture. We're big Rolex fans, but the reality is that today, Rolex's price points are beyond the means of many, especially those in the military, and the brand simply isn't what it once was for our community. Rolex has also terminated its unit watch program, and the days of servicemen purchasing a Rolex Submariner at the post exchange for 2 months' salary are long gone. During the early days of the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan, one brand reigned supreme: Casio. Put simply, the Casio G-Shock is likely the most broadly issued military watch in history. In the US, 4 G-Shock models have earned an NSN, or NATO stock number, meaning the watches can be cheaply and easily ordered by military procurement specialists. Everyone from Navy SEALs and Army Green Berets to infantrymen and cooks has utilized G-Shock watches as the tools they are, and the same is true for military organizations around the world. Known for durability, utility, and attainability above all else, G-Shock's tool watch points are off the charts, and the only thing holding G-Shock back is the brand's almost total lack of customized unit watches, though there are a few select examples out there, including a custom full-metal G-Shock Casio made for British royalty protection officers. A Swiss brand dating back to 1848, Omega has a long history with the WOE community, including the WWW Dirty Dozen model produced for the British military at the end of World War II, as well as a special version of the Seamaster 300 issued to Royal Navy divers in the late 1960s and early 70s. Today, Omega is a leader in the unit watch space, having produced customized versions of the Seamaster Diver 300 for elite units, including U.S. Navy SEALs, the U.S. Secret Service, Danish frogmen, and French law enforcement units. Squadron-specific versions of the new Speedmaster Flight Qualified are also in the works. Despite its history and unit watches, Omega's broader catalog is oriented first and foremost around the perception of luxury and less about utility. This is not to say models like the Seamaster Diver 300 and Speedmaster are not tool watches with impressive history, but viewed holistically, modern Omega is, like Rolex, more jewel than tool, especially compared to other names on this list. When it comes to analog military-issued watches today, the list is short. One of the undisputed leaders is Marathon, which has been supplying the US and Canadian governments with capable tool watches since 1941. Today, Marathon is best known for its SAR collection of watches, which was unveiled in 2001 after being developed with Canadian Air Force search and rescue technicians and favored by modern special operations forces from pararescue to Army SF. Marathon does the vast majority of its business for government contracts, with dozens of its models available through formal military supply channels. Marathon is currently lighter when it comes to unit watches, but rumor has it that a few interesting projects are already in production. When it comes to utility, if you're looking for a legit, currently issued military watch that is as fit for purpose as any, Marathon is one of only a few authentic options. In a previous video, we called Seiko the Toyota of watches. In the 20th century, various models were issued to Naval Special Warfare, U.S. Army Special Forces, Israel's Shayetet 13, the Royal Air Force, and other elite military organizations. Despite that proud history, like Casio, Seiko is surprisingly light on unit watches, though there are select examples like this recent project with U.S. Army Special Forces. Whether we're talking about the legendary 6309 Turtle issued to Frogmen in the 80s, an old-school Seiko 5 being used by MACV SOG in Vietnam, or a chronograph designed for RAF pilots, Seiko is a longtime leader when it comes to utility. Despite the broader industry's trend towards luxury, Seiko continues to prioritize tool watches, drawing comparisons to legends of durability like the Toyota Hilux and Land Cruiser for good reason. Next up, we have Tudor, which was founded in 1926 by Rolex founder Hans Wilsdorf and still falls under the Rolex umbrella today. More than perhaps any other brand on our list, Tudor satisfies our criteria to the fullest degree. Looking at military history, the Tudor Submariner was issued to and used by units from South Africa, Canada, Argentina, and Israel. But Tudor's legend in U.S. Special Operations was galvanized during the Vietnam War, when the reference 7928 Submariner was issued to U.S. Navy SEAL teams in large numbers. Tudor inherited its unit watch program from Rolex and is a clear leader today, having produced custom watches for the U.S. Secret Service Counter-Assault Team, French Commando Hubert Combat Swimmers, SEAL Team 6, the Royal Canadian Mounted Police's Emergency Response Team, the French GIGN, and many more. And finally, especially compared to other Swiss luxury brands, Tudor's catalog is almost completely dedicated to tool watches, from the Pelagos FXD to the Ranger to the Black Bay. Several brands come close, but Tudor is our pick for the most WOE watch brand in 2025. CWC, or Cabot Watch Company, is unique in that the brand was set up in 1972 for no reason other than supplying the British Ministry of Defence with capable tool watches, starting with basic field watches before expanding into dive watches, with the CWC Royal Navy Diver replacing the Rolex Mill Sub in 1980. CWC watches, such as the SBS, are still issued to the MOD today, though the brand today relies on military and government orders, along with an active following among military watch collectors. Unit watches are not a core competency, but there are a few, and the brand's laurels in the utility department are about as strong as any. Most of CWC's watches come with fixed spring bars, Swiss quartz movements, and nylon pull-through straps. We've been fans of CWC and the SBS since seeing a photo of SBS operator Paul Scruff McGough wearing one in Afghanistan. It's still a small brand, but CWC is as legit as it comes, and a brand to keep on your radar. Often overshadowed by Seiko, Citizen is another giant of Japanese watch manufacturing with close ties to the military. The Aqualand, an analog digital dive watch released in 1985, was issued to Australian and British Navy clearance divers, the Special Boat Service, and Danish frogmen, including King Frederick X. What the brand lacks in unit watches, and there aren't any that we're aware of, it makes up for in utility, with the Aqualand serving as a perfect example of a watch that was designed as an instrument for divers first and foremost, a true form-following-function situation. There are other examples, including the NY0040 collection of divers and ProMaster models favored by commercial and military pilots. Citizen has long partnered with the Blue Angels, but it appears to be a traditional licensing deal as opposed to a true unit watch. More specifically oriented around aviation, IWC is another brand with long-standing links to the military, having produced issued watches for both sides of the Second World War. Today, IWC also claims a serious aviation-focused unit watch program that was born from a 2007 licensing deal, allowing the brand to use the U.S. Navy's Top Gun insignia and name. Once the real Top Gun pilots saw the commercially available watches, they wanted their own custom versions, and the program has since made dozens of unit watches for aviation squadrons around the world. Like other names on this list, IWC now falls squarely within the luxury sector, although its collection of pilots' watches, and particularly its unit watches, are still used as tools by many military aviators. Another brand near and dear to us is Breitling, a Swiss watchmaker founded in 1884 and known for models like the Navitimer, Super Ocean, Aerospace, and Emergency. Though the seldom-seen 817 chronograph was issued to Italian Air Force helicopter pilots in the 1970s, the majority of Breitling's cachet in our community stems from its unit watch program, which thrived in the 1990s and early 2000s under the stewardship of the Schneider family. A wide-ranging selection of units, from the U.S. Army's Delta Force to dozens of aviation squadrons and even Blackwater, a private military contractor, all ordered customized versions of Breitling's core models. For an entire generation of practitioners operating on the fringes of global conflict, Breitling was part of the culture. Admittedly, the unit watch program has waned in recent years, and the brand has pivoted away from utilitarian tool watches in favor of luxury, meaning modern Breitling earned its place on this list, but it isn't as relevant as it once was. Taking a broad view of these 10 brands, a clear theme emerges. The connection between watches, service, and culture runs deeper than any watchmaker's PR department. In our community, watches are never just tools. They're a record of where we've been and the people who wore them in moments that mattered. Certain brands get it, others don't. At WOE, we're here for everyone who understands that a watch is never just a watch. Thank you for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, drop a comment, and hit the bell icon to be informed when we release new videos. For even more, check out our website, watchesofespionage.com, for more content, as well as our collection of watch straps and other purpose-built tools designed for our community. Until next time, happy hunting.